So in class AB, as we have discussed already in classification, it lies between class A and class B. So we can tell it's a combination of class A and class B. So it takes the advantage of both class A and class B, and it tries to solve the problems which were faced in class A and class B. So we know that in class A amplifier, we are having the lot of distortions, like we have discussed about second harmonic, higher order harmonic distortions. And in class B amplifier, we are having a problem of crossover distortion again, because since we are going to connect, or since we are going to cascade both the output from transistor 1 and transistor 2 during the time where both of them are crossing the zero reference line. During that time, we will be having a zero voltage, that is known as the zero crossing distortion. That means we'll get the output like this, and this zero crossing distortion occurs across the zero reference line. So this occurs because since we are using two transistor, this output is because of transistor 1, and this output is because of transistor 2. Again, this is because of transistor 1. Each of them are having a cut-in voltage of 0.7 or 0.3 based upon the what kind of transistor you are using, whether you are using a silicon transistor or germanium transistor. Since each of them are having a 0.7 drop, so when we look into the output, we will be having that 0.7 difference at the positive level as well as at the negative level, or 0.3 at the positive level and 0.3 at the negative level. Because of that loss of 0.3 or 0.7 volt in both the phases, which is the cut-in voltage for T1 and T2, the output looks like this. Since whenever the output is crossing the zero reference line, this is observed. This is known as zero crossing distortion or zero crossover distortion. So to overcome this problem, we are going to use class AB power amplifier. And also, you know that in class A amplifier, we were using a single transistor, and the amount of efficiency which we have observed in class A is less. In series fed class A amplifier, it was just 25%, whereas in transformer coupled class A amplifier, it was 50%. But still, it is not up to the mark, since it is practically it is around 10 to 18% for class A series fed class A amplifier. So this is not an appreciable efficiency which has been obtained in class A amplifier. But when you compare class B power amplifier, the efficiency which was produced was okay compared to the previous amplifiers, but we are having this crossover distortion problem. So considering these two problems, that is, to eliminate the low efficiency problem in class A and the distortion problem in class B, class AB is being emerged. So to solve this, or to eliminate these two problem by utilizing the advantages which are there in class A as well as class B. So let us see how it will happen. So the circuit diagram looks almost same like class B power amplifier only, because here also we will be using the same push-pull circuit. But to the push-pull circuit, we are just adding uh, some we are just going to add some diodes to that. So to overcome this 0.7 or 0.3 drop. So let us see now. So this is the primary where we are giving the input. This is the secondary, which is connected to the transistors. So here also you can either use both NPN or PNP, or one in the or the complementary approach you can use. Since this is just the enhancement of class B push-pull amplifier. So here also we are using two transformers like class B push-pull amplifier, and finally we are having the load RL. So this is the diagram which we are having for class B push-pull amplifier. So to this, we are going to add a diode at the secondary of the first transformer. So since this kind of connection is being done, let us take this as Q1, Q2. So this kind of connection is done. So the crossover distortion problem, which was occurring in both the transistor whenever both the transistor are crossing the zero reference line. That means at zero reference line, the output of both the transistor will be zero, because both the transistor are going to enter into the cutoff region. Because when the input is like this, during the positive half cycle, T1 is going, or Q1 is going to conduct, and during negative half cycle, Q2 is going to conduct. But when the signal is crossing zero reference line, during that time, either Q1 or Q2 both will not conduct. So the both will be in off state. So to overcome this problem, we are going to use this kind of circuit. So here we are going to eliminate by choosing a condition where one of the when this transistor Q1 is working, let us assume Q1 is on state and Q2 is off state. So we are going to make the transistor to work for more than half cycle, because if you take 180-degree, which is an half cycle, so it is, if you are going to consider 180-degree, then because of the cut-in voltage, theoretically we tell 180-degree, but because of the cut-in voltage or VBE value, whatever we are having between base and emitter, it will not actually give the output for 180-degree. It will give around some 160-degree, like that. So now the technique which we are using here is, when Q1 is conducting, during that time, when the input is going towards zero, so the Q1 should not turn off before Q2 is turning on. I'll repeat it again. Q1 should not turn off before Q2 is on. As soon as Q2 is on, then the Q1 should be turned off, so that the crossover distortion can be avoided. This is the technique which is utilized in class AB amplifier. That means when the transistor gets into conduction, before the operating transistor switch to the cutoff state. So when this is operating, then this will be in cutoff region. So when this is going towards the cutoff region, then it should, by the time it should turn on. Until this turns on, this should not enter into the cutoff region. That's why what we do is, instead of having the output for 180-degree, we will take it for more than 180-degree. So that's why we tell the class AB power amplifier works for greater than 180-degree but less than 360-degree. But what is the output cycle for class A? What is the output cycle for class A?
A sine wave, a full sine wave.
Full sine wave. That means it is 360 degree.
Yes,
But
sir.
for this one is 180 degree. So this class AB, it's a combination of both. So it should, the output cycle or the output which is given by Q1 should lie between 180 degree and 360 degree, such that we will be having, we will be eliminating the crossover distortion. This is a technique which has been used. So that's why what we are going to do is, here each of the push pull transistor which is conducting will be conducting for slightly more than half cycle of the condition in class B. So in class B we are considering exactly 180 degree, but here it is going to conduct slightly more than half cycle, not very much larger value, just slightly, maybe some 10 to 20 degree extra, so that this crossover distortion can be avoided. So, but it will not go for 360 degree. Each cycle, each transistor output will not go for 360 degree. So it will be between 180 degree and 360 degree based upon the operating point selected. So the operating point for class B was in the cutoff. So now what we are going to do is, we are going to shift that Q point above the cutoff region. This is the PI characteristics, and this is the DC load line, and you are knowing that the Q point was here for class B. So now the Q point which is here, we are going to slightly shift to this level, such that the output which was going, the output which was coming only for half cycle will be enhanced. So let us see how it will get enhanced. You can see that this portion comes after the cutoff region. So what happens to this portion of the signal?
So it's clipped off, sir.
Yes, it is going to be clipped off or removed off, because this cycle will come after the cutoff region. So whatever the cycle which is coming before the cutoff region, only that signal will be flowing. So when that portion of signal is being eliminated, we cannot tell we are getting complete 360 degree. It is just less than 360 degree. At the same time, we cannot tell it is 180 degree, because it is greater than 180 degree. So more than half cycle we are getting here. So how we are going to do this? See, here you can observe at the secondary, we are adding a diode which is connected to plus VCC. So this diode is going to give the necessary 0.7 volt or 0.3 volt voltage to this transistor, such that these transistors are not going to turn off at the point till 0.3 or 0.7, because when 0.7 or 0.3 is added extra to Q1 and Q2, during that time the loss which we were observing, that will be restored back. When you know that the loss in each of the cycle is 0.7 and 0.7, when we are using a diode, so that diode, you know that the drop across the diode is 0.7 or 0.3 based upon the type of transistor you're using. So you're using plus VCC, and you can see that this plus VCC and the diode is connected in forward bias condition. Whenever a diode is forward biased, during that time the drop across the voltage will be 0.7 for silicon diode. So when you're adding this to the secondary of the transformer, during that time this 0.7 gets added to Q1 as well as for the Q2, so that the Q1 and Q2 will be already in the active region. That means the Q point gets shifted and it will be always here. So that drawback of VB will be eliminated in this case. Okay, that is about this class AB power amplifier. In class AB power amplifier, you don't have any derivations and all for your syllabus. We just need to explain the class AB amplifier. There are different types of circuit in class AB amplifier. Each of them are going to be used to improve the efficiency in each of the cases. So let us see the next one. There are actually three types where you are going to use a single diode. In one case, you are using a single diode as we discussed here. In the other case, you are going to use a potential divider circuit. And in one more circuit, we are going to use two diodes. Instead of single diode, you are going to use two diode. Let us see now the complementary push-pull amplifier with the potential divider circuit and as well as with two diodes. So complementary push-pull amplifier. So in the complementary push-pull amplifier, so what you have seen in complementary push-pull amplifier compared to
Sir, this is a
what?
part of class AB, right?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
So what you have seen in class B complementary push-pull amplifier? What is the difference you have observed between class A, class B push-pull and complementary? Ninada?
Sir, in AP we have a diode, but in class B push-pull we don't have, sir.
No, I'm asking about class B, both the cases, complementary as well as the regular one.
Yes, sir. In push-pull class B, we use either both NPN or PNP, but in complementary it should be different, complement to one another. PNP and PNP and vice versa.
Yeah. So in complementary push-pull amplifier, we will be using two type of transistor as well as we will be not using the transformer. The transformer can be eliminated. But in push-pull amplifier, we will use a transformer as well as both the transistors will be of same type. That is the change. See, circuit remains the same. Only some add-ons to the circuit will be having. So this is the circuit which we are having for complementary class AB push-pull amplifier. with a potential divider circuit. So here you can observe we are having a potential divider circuit. That means potential divider circuit means a potentiometer. That means pot. You'll be using a pot which is a variable resistance. So we are capable of tuning it. In our previous case, we were having a single diode. So when there was a single diode, so obviously it will be maintained constant, and it depends upon the type of diode as well, and also that diodes drop voltage and transistors drop voltage should match. So if you are using a diode of dropping voltage of 0.5, and if the transistors drop in voltage or cut in voltage is 0.7, then again a mismatch will occur. So we are again in a loss of 0.2 volt in both the cases. So to overcome that problem, so one thing what you can do is you have to match the cut-in voltages of diode and transistors exactly. That means you need to choose a diode which is having a 0.7 volt drop, and you can do it. Or else you can use a potentiometer, so variable resistance, and you know that since resistance will be having a voltage drop, so we are going to add this resistance circuit, which is known as the potential divider circuit. See, voltage divider circuit, and this one is almost the same. In voltage divider circuit, we'll use a fixed R1, R2 value. Here, we are just adding up one more resistance, which is a variable resistance. So, by properly tuning the VR1, we can nullify the cut-in voltage of both the cases, point 0.7, which occurs between the base and emitter, that can be eliminated, because this is when you are having a when you consider this circuit with this portion of the circuit. That means this portion with this portion of the circuit. When you consider this two, this portion and this portion, or you are considering this particular loop, can you tell me how they are connected, this portion and this portion, whether they are in series or they are in parallel?
Parallel, sir.
Okay,
Series, sir.
series. Okay, any other answer? Any others? Any others who are supporting it as series or who are supporting it as parallel? See, these two,
Parallel.
yeah, parallel.
Yes, sir. Not sure.
Okay.
It will be series,
Okay.
sir.
It will be in series. Okay. See, I have repeated many times. So this is a junction. This is a junction. Whenever we are going to take the circuits with respect to a junction or a node, they will be parallel, because at this particular portion you are having four wires are going to meet. Here also four wires are going to meet. So whatever you are going to connect across this, that will be always parallel. It cannot be series. Suppose you don't have anything and you are having just like this, then it is they will be in series, because there is no junction either here, here or here. But here you are having junction across these 2 points. That itself will show that they are in parallel combination. And we know for parallel combination, the voltage will be same. same parallel branches will be having same voltage. The same concept we are going to use here to demonstrate it. Here R1, R2, R3, R4 are connected and VR1 is connected. If there is R1, R2, R4, R3, R4, this 4 resistance itself will provide the necessary the voltage drop which is required to nullify the 0.7 voltage drop. But sometimes if it is not going to match properly, if you want a small correction or small change, then you will be using this pot. By varying this pot, we'll try to arrange the voltage drop across this junction and this junction will be constant and it will be equal to the voltage drop across VBE. So by doing this also, we can nullify the drawback which we have observed when the voltage drop across the diode and VBE, if they are not matching, that will be a problem. To nullify that or to overcome that, we can use this circuit, and it is a simplified circuit since you know that we are not going to use a transformer. It is not bulky also, and since we are using C1, C2, C3, these three are the capacitor values, the capacitors which we are connecting to eliminate the DC component. So to eliminate this DC component, we are using capacitor. So whatever the current which is coming here, it will be filtered out at this point, this level only. Why? Because if you are going to allow the signal and suppose you assume that the signal is having a combination of AC and DC, that means some DC components is mixed up with this input signal because of some errors in the power supply or any other reasons. During that time, I'm telling this condition under the absence of C2, C1, C2, what will happen? During that time, the additional DC signal which is along with the AC signal, that itself will change the drop in voltage across this voltage divider circuit, so that again a mismatch between the VBE and this voltage drop will occur. So to overcome that, whatever the signal we are giving out here, it should be a pure AC signal, and the drop which is created, the voltage drop which is created across the circuit should be only dependent upon plus VCC. For this circuit, whatever the voltage drop is being produced, that voltage drop is only because of plus VCC DC voltage, and none of the other extra DC voltage will be considered. So to avoid that extra DC voltage getting added up, we are using this coupling capacitors. Similarly, at the output side, we are using one more coupling capacitor since the transistors are connected to plus VCC. So obviously there might be chance of mixing this plus VCC with a given AC input signal, and we want a pure AC amplified version of pure AC signal, we will be using one more capacitor at the output side. So this is about the potential, the complementary class AB push-pull amplifier. Just a minute. Okay. So this is about the potential, the complementary class AB push-pull amplifier with potential divider circuit. So just a modification to this, we can have one more. R1, R2. Well, instead of that potential divider circuit, we can even try with two diodes. Sorry, this is not the emitter. This is the emitter. This is collector side. So base emitter, base emitter. Say when you are considering this portion, the base emitter, base emitter. So the total drop which is produced across this circuit will be equal to 1.4. Right. So we need to we have discussed individually 0.7, 0.7, but when you consider the total drop across this, it will be 1.4. So that's why what we are going to do is we are going to use two diodes, since each diode is having 0.7 and 0.7 voltage drop. Now by exactly matching this diode drop with each transistor, so exactly matching in a sense, the diode is having drop of 0.7 and base emitter voltage is also having 0.7. And all the four, that means transistor 1, 2 and diode 1, diode 2, all four are going to match with the cut-in voltage, with respect to the cut-in voltage. So once this is done, and you can observe that these are connected back to back, and since it is connected with plus VCC, obviously they are going to be forward biased always, because the other terminal is connected to ground and it is connected back to back. So it is just like connecting like this two batteries. So you can see now when two diodes are connected by assuming the equivalent circuit. So if each of them are producing 0.7, 0.7, 0.7, what will happen? It will get added up. The same way here also, the two transistors voltage will added up, and that will be maintained across this base emitter, base emitter. This is also the one more technique, because when you are going to see the output, we are getting like this in class B power amplifier. So there is a loss of 0.7 in positive phase and 0.7 in the negative phase. So totally the loss of the entire cycle will be 1.4. In each cycle it is having 0.7 loss, and in the negative cycle again 0.7 loss. So when you consider the total loss, it will be 1.4. So when you are having this potential divider the diode biased circuit, we are going to have that 1.4 always maintained between these two terminals. So that 1.4 will be appearing across this, such that that is going to nullify the cut-in voltage which is going to occur across the base emitter and base emitter, so that zero crossing distortion will be avoided. So zero crossing distortion is avoided, and since you are using two transistors together, obviously the efficiency is going to increase. So from these three circuits, what we understand is by using the best things of both class A and class B, we are able to design class AB amplifier, which is going to give the best of class A and class B. What is the best thing that we have observed in class A? It is going to give full cycle. What is the best thing that we have observed in class B? It is going to give the extended or more efficient output. So these two are added up and it is been given as class AB push-pull amplifier. So the working remains the same, but the only change is we are going to add this extra circuit at the input side of the transistor. So this is about class AB power amplifier. So this completes the class AB power amplifier. So till now, whatever I have covered, you can answer two complete questions. So in module 1 and in this particular power amplifier chapter. See why I went for this power amplifier chapter is because this power amplifier is, again, we are going to study the working of transistors here, and even in the module 1 also we have discussed about the working of BJT transistors. So before going on for MOSFET and all, I thought I can finish off the BJT related things. So once we are done with BJT related applications, then we can go for FET. After that, we can go for the IC based circuits. That means op amp based circuit. So totally, you are having three modules based on the analog circuits and two modules based on integrated circuits. That is IC. So the last two modules will be entirely on the ICs. So we'll be using op amps and we'll try to do different applications. So that so after this, I'll be starting with the oscillator. So before that, let us solve some problems which are based on this. So can you just look in this problem that we have done? A class B push-pull amplifier operating with VCC is equal to 24 volt. Is this problem done?
Can you repeat, sir?
A class B push-pull amplifier operating with VCC is equal to 24 volt. Others can also answer.
Sir, a class B
No, sir.
amplifier using VCC supply 30 volts, driving a
Hmm.
load of 16 ohms.
Okay, then
That's been
okay,
done,
we'll do this. So this is not done. So similar kind of problem. Operating with VCC is equal to 24 volt, providing 20 volt peak signal to an 10 ohm load. Find IL, IDC drawn from the supply. Comma, PDC, comma, circuit efficiency, power dissipation in each transistor. See, circuit efficiency or power efficiency are same, both are same. Just to confuse you, they'll tell circuit efficiency. So everything is clear in this case. So they have given all the things. VCC is given, it is 24, and VM is given, it is 20 volt, and RL is given, that is equal to 10 ohm. These are the things that are given. So first thing is find the load current. So in order to find the load current, what we need to find? Load current means what? The peak signal, whatever you are getting, that itself will be the load current, because the output is in a sinusoidal wave, or we have assumed. So obviously if you find out the peak current, that will give you the actual load current. So first we will find out Im. So Im is equal to Vm by RL. So what is the answer?
2.4, sir.
Yeah, 2.4 amperes. Similarly, that is nothing but IL. So this is nothing but IL. The same way IDC. So IDC is equal to, since class B push-pull amplifier, since we are having two transistor,
How can it be
it will-
2.4? So it'll be 2 ampere, right?
Sir.
Yes,
Huh?
sir, 2 amps, sir.
So it'll be 2 ampere, right? How can it be 2.4? VM by RL, right? VM is 20, sir, not 24.
VM is 20, yeah, 20 by 10, 2 ampere. So 2 Im by pi. So that is equal to, just substitute the values, Im whatever you have got, 2 into 2 by 3.14.
1.27.
1.27. Okay. So after this, IDC is done, we'll be having PDC. So we need to find the PDC. For PDC, we have the formula VCC into IDC. So substitute it. IDC value we have obtained and VCC value is given. Rohit,
Yes, sir.
what is the answer you are getting?
1 minute, sir. Calculating, sir. So 30.48, sir, I'm getting.
30.48.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, 30.5 watt.
30.5 watt. Okay. PAC. So PAC, we can find it VM square by RL. Simple formula. Just substitute it. You'll get PAC. After that, circuit efficiency PAC by PDC into 100. After that, the power dissipation they have asked. So power dissipation is PDC minus PAC. So what is PAC?
43.
Sorry,
40 watts.
40 watt. Okay. So efficiency,
That's coming around 131, sir.
what efficiency?
Yes, sir, 131.
Mhm.
That can't be right.
Mhm.
So because you got PAC is greater than PDC, right? So it is coming greater than 100.
Mm.
Is that correct, sir?
Mm.
So and PD is coming negative because DC is smaller than AC.
So you are taken VCC, that is 30.5 only you are getting.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
PDC is getting 30.5.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, then do one thing. Make this as 25. VCC as 25. Check it how much you'll get when you make it 25. When you make VCC as 25, how much you get? PDC?
So 31.
So 31.75, sir. It is still lesser than 40.
Yes, sir.
31.
Not much difference.
Okay. So then
But if it is 35, it would have,
we need
we
to.
can get, sir.
So when okay, so then make peak voltage as 24. Peak voltage, take it as 24. Peak voltage as 24. Now check it. So this current will change again. Vm by RL. It will be 2.4 amperes.
So, but then PAC will increase, sir. It will become 57.6.
How much is this one? How much is PDC?
So PDC is 31 only, sir, because you've taken 25. No, 1 second. Sorry.
So 37.
IDC will increase now.
Yes, sir. 37.5.
38, sir. Yes, sir.
38, sir.
That is still less than PAC.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me. Yeah. Tell me.
So PAC will be VRMS into IRMS now, sir. So we'll get it as VM square by 2RL.
Yeah. Sorry. Here I left out 2. No. Sorry. 2 will come
Yes,
here.
sir.
No.
Yes, sir. So we'll get 20.
It is Vm by root 2. Yes, you are correct. It is Vm by root 2. So now you will get it correctly. Even for our old problem also, old values only you will get. Good. So here, because Vm by root 2, no? Vm by root 2 whole square is Vm square by 2RL. So I have left out 2 here. So now tell me, okay, retain this only and tell me PDC. How much? Some 38
So
something
we'll
you are
get
telling
20
now?
then. PAC.
PDC?
PAC will get 20.
No. PDC? PDC.
30.48.
Take my initial values, we get PDC as 30.5, PAC as 10, and our efficiency will get, sir, expected value.
PAC
So
So what is
efficiency
is
is
PDC? I'm asking.
30.5.
Okay, this is 20. 30.5. Okay. Now 20 by 30.5,
Yes,
how much you'll get?
65.
How much you're getting?
So 65.6.
65.
0.6.
Okay.
0.6.
Sorry?
65.61%.
65 points. Okay.
6.
This is also fine, which is near to, okay, 65.6 or 66%. So that is fine. Now substitute in the PD. So 30.5 minus 20 is equal to 10.5 watt.
Yes, sir.
So power dissipation in each transistor means this is the total power dissipation divided by 2. That will give you the power dissipation in each transistor. So 5.25 watt in each transistor. So this is about this particular problem.